Guys on the desk, perfect summary of yesterday. We now know the full picture, and we get to kind of paint all the bits in between. Now we need to see the ending of this. Who's going to make it to Dubai? The top three looks pretty hard fought for. Top two looks a little set, but if they get their foot off that gas, Rich, other teams could climb up there. Team Gates, Gankstars, they look good, but that third spot, still up for grabs.
Yeah, there's two sides to this coin, right? All these teams that kind of did really, really well yesterday, they've got themselves a little bit of a buffer now, a cushion. Again, nobody wants to have a bad game because this was a best of 8. So one simple game can completely throw you off track. Now, the bigger picture is, all right, these teams that are down, you know, around the 5th, 6th, 7th place, they can have absolutely blinding games. But in order for them to make it up the ladder, the teams at the top, they have to do poorly as well. They have to be brought down a notch, you know, kind of take a peg beneath the leg, so to speak. I'm wondering if we actually ever kind of are going to see these teams been attacked early on. They know where these teams are starting to land now. They've had 4 games to fight it already. Are we going to see where they're going? Will they hot drop in? Will they attack them straight off the bat?
It could be a possibility, but we are in the air. We are in the game. Remember, you guys at home, tell us who you're supporting, who you think's got this in the bag, who's in that top 3. Use the hashtag PMSC on Twitter, and we'll check in with you guys. And already we're hearing the comms coming in from one of the players there, potentially.
Yeah, I think we might have those touched in on comms. Gankstars first ones out of the plane. Honestly, you would expect it. No surprises whatsoever. Opting to go for North Georgia Port time and time again. I think that's the only different one they had was when we had the rough plane path yesterday, when it was more towards the southern end of the map. But again,
they still made it up there in vehicles.
They did. They just rotated like a bad man and still came out on top. So starting off around just left of Severny in the northern region and flying all the way down south, we will end over Sosnovka down on Millie Island. The bigger question is, will any teams opt to stay inside the plane, maybe get a foothold on there? We might have some early engagements. We did see it yesterday when a team got caught off guard. I believe it was Lights Out that lost a player because the team managed to get there a little bit quicker than them. But again, when you're evenly split like this straight through the map, okay, it's not completely central, but it does start left and end right. Generally speaking, you'll have an open map. Everyone can go where they want. You shouldn't see too many fights, but I tell you what, Millie Base is looking busy.
It certainly does, and this could be interesting to see where the teams go to. If you're looking towards that top 3 and you're wondering who goes well, of course you know where Gankstars are. Keep your eyes on Team Gates, but the ones to look for, the surprise, the kind of, I guess, wild cards, is the likes of Wildcard and down below. So if you want to see Marciano Gaming, they're Team 15. Look for them on the map, you'll find them. And then you have Team 17, which is Derek's Killers, Team 8, which would be Zen Gaming. These are the guys that could really shuffle up that top 3. Right now, we're checking on that looting phase. We're seeing how Gankstars are doing. And we said it before, and the one thing I will say here is they are not alone. There could be pressure coming out. Team 13 there, getting in early. They're the Pachinki Bandits. They got bullied out of Pachinki before, so they could have tried to switch it up, but they've gone, you know, out of the fire into the frying pan, and already an early kill comes in.
Yeah, that's me, Mark, with the quick run over. Nice bit of PM there. It's always nice to see someone getting flat on by a vehicle. He's down, he's dead. He's the first victim, unfortunately, of game number 1. But as you said, Lauren, I mean, Pachinki Bandits, they're not going where the name suggests. They've been pushed out. Unfortunately, finding themselves in North Georgia alongside the Gankstars. Now, if I was that team, you'd have to know by now these boys are going to be here. So you're going to be very, very aware. I mean, if we look towards the top right, when you look at that map, they are spread out. And over here we have Beowulf. He's going to be keeping an eye on them. He can get up high on this, keep a track of where these players are. Again, PUBG Mobile's quite loud when people are walking around you. As we switch to the opposing end of the map, I think someone just got caught there on the back of the vehicle. They are getting tagged up. This is team number 3, so those guys fighting off against the Hammers.
And those guys are currently in 6th position, so they are vying for that top spot. They're looking towards that top 3, so again, they want a very clean start here. And we'll see the teams rocking up, trying to get towards those buildings, and they've beaten them there. They got the vehicles, they should be able to get the loot. A little bit of, I guess, lower-end loot on the other side for Team 3, going to try and work their way forward. But the other team could be potentially getting a lot more loot in the bag. Hammer Esports do have more buildings to work with over here by Ferry Pit.
Yeah, in theory, Hammers do have the upper hand because they are on high ground.
Oh, I just saw Rolex getting into the action early as well.
Is that one individual player going down? I believe that was the Tommy gun. Just comped it for a second in the kill feeds. That's the second player going down. But speaking about this fight in particular, well, oh, actually, that's a lot of people I'm seeing. Team Gates are going off. They've lost a couple of players either side. That's 3 individual players down. One of them's already dead on the side of Team Fandy. This is all kinds of messy over by the crates. This will be Novo, right?
It should be Novo, indeed. It is. So we're going to be seeing Team 18 going at it. And looking to see what they can do going forward. Team Fandy, of course, as you highlighted, they're going to be in a little bit of a predicament. Let's see where they're up against as well, because they're fighting against the odds. It seems like they're not on the winning side of this battle. And that's Rolex down there. So they've got a big team to fight up against. If Rolex can get his team back up and ready to fight, then they're in a good spot. That could be some opening kills. But also, if they go down early, this opens up that top 3, Richard. This could be a huge starting battle. So
we have to assess this situation. 2 players from Team Gates are down. One of them's on the back wall, get on the res. You can see on the player on the hard right. It looks like it's Koto, last man standing here. He eliminates it. That's it. They're gone. They're dead. They're done. Fandy's out. The first team falls victim, and they go out in 20th position.
This is excellent news as well for Team Gates, considering they get a lot of points for those kills. Keep in mind, this is one of the higher points you're going to be seeing as well. So for them, pick up the teammate, get the loot, and carry on. You defended your territory. This is their land. This is where they like to loot. We've seen them towards that military island. It's no surprise that they go down there. And this time, they had to fight for it. And they won it out. So for them, even better. That means they get a good early start. Kills under the bag there. They're going to keep those building for themselves and push themselves further into that unreachable spot.
60 points, no vote to themselves, and more importantly, a clean fight. They didn't lose a single player in that engagement, even though they had 2 going down, which in the long run might be a bit of a problem, because obviously the more downs you have, the faster you'll bleed out in the bigger game. But still, to be able to win that fight completely clean and pick up 60, a squad wipe, and anything else that they actually had, it's happy days for them. The circle, it's not on their side. It will be on the opposing side of Erangel, more towards the north. This is the fight we saw about earlier on. This will be those guys kicking it off, all being well against which team was there? That'll be Hammers.
Yeah, but one of the Hammers was pushed up a little bit further forward, so they're going to get the information and relay it to the rest of the teams. You can see Richie and Co now just adjusting where they're pushing towards. They know where that line is, and they do not want to lose out on players. Already the other team, Hammers, losing out on 1, so for them, it's a bit of a safety maneuver, but they're getting aggressive here. Animosity, we saw this from him before, but gets outdone by the SMGs around the corner from that guy. Good news again for another team towards that top 5, top 6. They've got to be careful to not overextend. The rest of the Hammers are in the back lines.
Yeah, Sneaker's in a really good position here. M16 with the 4 times on the back. He can just keep an eye on them and watch them from that barnyard, the top window with the ACOG, but now they're down to 2. They do have armor. They don't really have a massive amount of guns. I mean, Danny's got the old MAC-10 Uzi. Up close and personal, it will do a lot of damage, but with things like this, when you got the shotgun, it's going to be a bit of a long push. Grimes obviously keeping an eye on what's going on. There's no point in overextending now. They picked up 30 points in the kill feed. That's Swift taking out Dragoon there. I saw Scar kill really, really quickly, so we'll try and keep an eye on that one in the left. Win, should I say, excuse me, back onto a member from Hectic, but still here with Richie, just trying to annoy the Hammers and maybe force them into an engagement.
Yeah, this could be good news for these guys and those guys.
It's been a nuisance, right? You kind of get the thought process here, maybe try and tap them from the side and force them out. Then the other team, or his teammates, should I say, from the left-hand side might be able to flush them, but potentially the Hammers, they're down to 50%. They might just get the hell out of here. This is the battle that we saw early in the kill feed.
Yeah, melee-based battle going on over by the ATC, and it looks like it's a cleanup as well. We just caught the end of that action. That's a whole squad wiped out.
I'm seeing 3 players there. I wonder if they've managed to, unfortunately, potentially lose one. But again, squad wipes through. Melee base is theirs. They'll be able to claim all that loot, get all the gear, continue through. They will have to move shortly because the circle, it'll start to force them all the way up north. At the moment, the north is looking rather empty around Severny and those regions. You'd expect it to swing further, but who knows? It might come all the way down. Unfortunately, Winsanity, they're eliminated in 19th place in game number 5.
And they were doing okay for themselves. They weren't exactly a huge team, but they were certainly getting a couple of kills here and there, being towards the late game as well. So they were over in 11th at the start of today. So this is a bit of a blow for them, a bit of a loss to be finishing in this sort of spot. So for them, that's a bit of a hard pill to swallow. So for them, they do need to try and maybe recover in the next couple of games, stay alive a little bit longer. Going for those early fights, it can be risky. It can work out really well, get you those extra points under your belt, push you a little bit further, but also, obviously, you run the risk. And that's what happened. And we're keeping tabs on Gankstars just purely because there was a team pretty close by. It looks like they've kind of kept, I guess, the loot a little bit further away from each other. They haven't overly gone aggressive, but it looks like Team 13 are on the lookout here.
Yeah. I mean, at least we can say it's Hotted still alive, right? It wasn't the first one to die. Feels bad, man.
Don't be mean to Hotted.
I would never. Apartments, again, become the usual place for the Gankstars. No one comes here because they know it's home territory and home turf. Team 13, they're going to have a battle on their hands. I mean, the Gankstars are not one team who will back away from the fight. They obviously know the numbers and they know how to approach situation and they know what's good. Level 3 on the floor. Happy days for that one. Good trade up there. 55% reduction. It's the biggest bit of armor in the game. It's the best bit of armor in the game, right? Because the damage multipliers on the face. It lose a ton of health if anybody hits you, regardless of what kind of bullet or ammunition it is. Rotations then for Team Hectic, and yes, indeed, they lost one player down to 75%, but still a trade-off of one player for 4. Points are there, they're all still alive, and they're well and truly in this game. 2 vehicles, nobody at the moment set up on the bridge, so they should be able to easily fly this one through. The question is where do they go, because when we look towards this circle, the southern end of it is where it's all really busy. At the moment, the north is still around shooting range, Severny. Everywhere above Yasnaya, it's completely clean and open. The southern side of this, it all depends where this next circle goes, Lauren. It could be a little bit of a messy battle. Now,
onto the screen, we do see Zen Gamers. They were actually doing quite well for themselves, sitting in 5th at the start of today, very much well within that reaching point of 3rd position, so they could definitely go for that. Nice bit of loot on the ground as well, not too far away if they fancy it. Now, they did get caught out by Gankstars. They were on the receiving end. I think they finished 2nd in one of the games up on the old Potato Hill. So I'm curious if they can maybe get back into that action, push a little further, keep getting those top 3s and getting those kills under their belt as well to boot.
I think the more interesting part of the story, how it unfolds, is when we look towards, you know, the western side of this circle, you've got Gankstars, you've got Wildcard, and then we have Lights Out. Now, Lights Out at the moment, I think are the most, probably, when everyone were looking to where they're going to perform, disappointing.
Richie's just falling out of the car, I think, as well.
It feels bad, man.
Yeah.
So Lights Out have a lot to prove today, and if they want to make it up to that top 3, they absolutely have to play Lights Out, no pun intended, because they are quite far down and definitely not where people expected them to be. They're one of the teams and say, well, this could be, you know, a dead cert, but again, like anything else in PUBG, nothing is certain. Depends where you go, depends who you run into, depends what kind of loot you have. Yesterday, on the latter games, they played a more passive game. We didn't see any kills coming out of them. We saw them getting up on the higher placing on the leaderboard, but still, a few rough games has put them in a tricky situation. They have to play amazingly today to be able to qualify for Dubai.
They'd have to play a game we have not seen from them. So that'll be interesting. We will be seeing Team Gates, the team in 2nd position, starting to move away from their original spot. Underrated here on the move, trolling in the little buggy, having to go through things. Not bad terrain to be going over, perfectly fine. They should be able to find a nice bit of positioning soon enough, wherever they feel comfortable. There is still a lot of land up for grabs. There hasn't been too many teams going on very early rotations. So that's going to be very much capable for them. They can find the prime spot. They might have to fight for it if they go very central, as a couple of teams now starting to begin their route. So that could be the next thing in mind for them. As you can see, there's the updated map of very central to this. So teams will be vying for the, I guess, prime cuts of meat, if you want to look at the real estate going for it. A couple of teams could have to veer away from this. They can't all go to the same spot here, but we've seen it already. Teams on mobile, they are not afraid for, you know, taking a fight here.
Yeah, Underrated's about to run into Team 19, so Taserface and Underrated might be engaging very, very soon. You can see it there, just on the ruins. Underrated are on a rotational side with vehicles, so they might just drive on by. A few pop shots might come their way, but again, Ruins is going to be extremely populated, potentially for Derek's Killers also to turn up on their one of the invited teams in here. They ended in 1st position after, 2nd position after game number 1 yesterday, so proving that they can fight.
Oh, look at that logo in the crowd. That's amazing. That's some good fan support. I like that.
He's also got it shaved into the side of his head. It looks amazing.
It's pretty cool.
It looks very, very cool. I saw them tweet it out today. It's pretty cool. So now, finally...
Speaking of them, they are going on the northern swing, so they should be pretty comfortable. They won't get caught on the way out. We are seeing teams moving away from those positions. We said the Ruins could be busy, but they don't have to commit yet. This is not a bad idea. If they just want to hold the ground, they might have shown a little bit of presence. The rest of the teams are going to move further forward away from that. So Team Hectic there, peeling away from that original position.
That's 2 teams that have drove by them now. I mean, look how spread out that team is. All individual players just sat in the ruins, kind of bunkered down, hoping nobody sees them. 2 teams that have let go flying by and say, okay, boys, just trigger discipline, hold your point, let them go. We don't have to take this fight. We can kind of keep this for now. 2 crates are in the open. No one's opted to go for them just yet. They might not have been seen, but again, with that circle, it has come down towards the south. There's a lot of teams still alive. I'm
so glad we went to this. This is what I was about to look at, because it's Team 15 and Team 7. It's G25, and it's Marciano Gaming. So this is some of the teams that have been really pushing the top of the scoreboard. So we're already seeing some real vindictive approach to that, straight up confirming the kill, no messing around. That's points in the bag, and that is a big statement made.
Simple as that. As soon as he walks outside the building, the 6 times in the sky just absolutely shredded him. Now G25, they've got a wake-up call. They've been warned. couple of shots came firing back onto the water. Players going down to about 40% HP. Tags him up through the windows. That's 2 down now.
Good flank, though, coming in here as well. This could be
player.
nice for Parker. If he can get across this line without being spotted out, that could be really good. Apply pressure from another angle. We know that G25 are not afraid of a fight, though. They love aggression, Richard. They will take these fights whenever they see it viable. But is this viable? That's the question here.
I mean, they're going to have to fight at the moment. I think they're on an opposing level. Parker's in such a wild position. If anyone wants to kind of overextend, you wouldn't expect them to, because they've already lost one player by doing so.
But there's a counter already happening on the other side as well. They've both done this. It's a mirrored move. One of the other players has done the same thing. So both have the same sort of thoughts in mind, and I like that. It's good strategic play, but now they can maybe consolidate and try and find a way out of here in a smart fashion where you don't lose players.
Marciano are playing absolutely incredible now. I mean, what they fall position. Crypto spots one, dinks him up, and he'll get away with his life for now. His teammate's there as well, so if he goes around the corner, he'll have to deal with 2. But again, you called it perfectly, Lauren. The mirrored image is there. They'll back off, and that little bit of annoyance, so to speak, has allowed the rest of his teammates to get to him. So they've all crossed the road now. They're kind of out of that danger zone, have been held back and pinned in. But there's still a lot of work to do. They're down to 3 players. And of course, this is yesterday that we saw.
Well.
Oh yeah, the kill feed.
That's actually important. Lights Out were not getting kills during the early game.
They're getting a lot of kills.
Yeah, they are really racking up bodies. That's good to see, good to note. Keep that in the back of your minds. If they're starting to get points on the board, we could have another contender pushing that middle of the table, but they've got a long way to go until they get to that top 3.
Unfortunately, not a lot of time to do it. There's only 4 games, and this is game number 5, day number 2. This is it. When we're all said and done, only 3 teams can be making their way to the World Finals in Dubai. There's a lot on the line for these guys, especially when you look towards some of them that haven't performed and kind of lived up to the standard that we were expecting to. So it's completely open. Number 1 spot, unless Gankstars have an abysmal day, you'd expect them to be there. But again, anything can happen. That's the wonderful thing about PUBG. If it's not your day, unfortunately, it's just not your day. Team 9, Team 14, just through the marshlands or the badlands. On the left-hand side of school, you got Team 4 in there. You got Team 6, Team 8, just on the opposing side. That's Zen Gamers. They're kind of going to hold the backside of Rozhok, but look at Gankstars. They're just trying to get a foothold here where there's a team approaching them, actually. There's a team going right next to them, and they're engaging.
Hectic.
That's angry. Team captain takes down 2 from Hectic. That might be 3. That's them all dead, potentially.
Swift and Metal got to feel the rather nasty end of the gun, and Beowulf is going to find Josh P as well. This looks like they might have just completely squad wiped them. That's a really nice hold coming out from Gankstars. Not surprising. A little bit of ranged fight, but look who's creeping up in the back lines. Team 3's not far away from this. Those guys could potentially third party. Gankstars are under fire, but you've got to look towards Team 3 as well and see what position they're working with. Would they dare to push this? There's a lot of teams on this slight western side of the circle, so this could get really interesting. Gankstars hit the deck, get the heals, and maybe just slow it down here.
I think Hectic's gone. Yes, they have. It's confirmed there. As soon as I say that, just a little window pops up. They only got 3 kills out of it, but still, that's 45 points in the bag. We just saw from Team Gates on the opposing side, the 8 times in the Mini. The Mini is an absolute monster of a weapon. Angry will knock out the vehicle in front of him, so at least no explosion will be able to take him out, and he can collect his loot. And his little reward from the body box there. Beowulf still trying to answer back it, yeah.
I like this. They've spotted out those guys who are maybe potentially creeping up. They'd have to cross the road, which would be very deadly. Obviously, being in first-person perspective, there's a little leeway on that, but I like the awareness. And something we're very aware of now with Gankstars is they will have smokes for days. So the entirety of the top floor of this pluming up. So they're perfectly well set. They've got the cars all in safety. If you're wondering why they do that as well, if maybe you don't watch too much competitive PUBG on mobile or not, it's to keep the tires safe, so you have that clean vehicle to make you move on the next circle rotations. It's very smart play. I remember speaking to the Gankstars and they were saying, yeah, we watch some of the PC teams, how they strategize, we take it all in. I like that approach. Very, very theoretical from them as well.
It's all about utility, right? Vehicles, armor, smoke grenades, whatever you can use.
They've read the circle well.
Comes in, and she is homing around between Rozhok, School, and just on the backside of Pachinki. You've got Ruins in there as well. So, smack bang center. Let's have a look at the teams we have. We have Team Gates. I think there was potentially Team... it can't have been Hectic because they go down. It might have been G25.
You've got those guys in there.
Yeah, that's it, those guys, because you've still got them over by Yasnaya. That fight still...
squad not far off, and Taserface are quite close by
So
him.
many people. 16 teams for this circle. There's not a lot of room whatsoever. I mean, you've got a team in Rolls. No one's over by School, so that might be open territory if they want to take that kind of area. The backside of Pachinki, we do have Lights Out. They've gone for a slightly different approach. They've come down and then gone, like, no vehicles, I don't believe. They've actually swung this in on foot.
So let's try and check in with the teams who are all in that kind of pushing to that third position if we can. Let's have a look at Wildcard, for example. If they're still kicking around, Team 5, where are they at? Because they're the ones that could have done something pretty deadly here, but I don't see them anywhere good right now. So again, they're still pretty far away from the circle. They're in third position. The teams around them are starting to get kills, and I'm seeing J7 just got picked up by the zone, so he's just gone down without a fight potentially. So that could be problematic. They now need to work their way in. If you look at Team 5, which is Wildcard, they'll be coming out of the 4 square buildings. It's a very hot location if you wanted to catch someone rotating away from Northern Georgia Pole. Potentially, they were trying to get Gankstars. Did not happen. On board with Team Gates, everyone loves these guys. Everyone likes what they've been doing so far. Again, another team, top 3 position. Couple of kills already, looking good, good spot. Could get pressure from the others around them, but they're holding firm for now. And look at this position now down by school. That's very hectic.
Just a matter of seeing where these fights unfold, because at the moment we've got them on all fronts. Potentially for Wildcard, they're going to go for a long rotation. We've just seen them in the back lines pick up a vehicle, so they're going to be coming down around the ruin side. That's actually where they entered initially. Team 9 just going to come across, maybe lights out here. Yep, they've seen one player. There's 2 in there. Grenade goes down. Sees the corn boy, but unfortunately just clips the wall. He's too far back. He pulled that down just a little bit, trolling on the opposing side. So good amount of ARs here. DP for boot as well. 3 times on the back of it. And
it's
at the
a
moment,
nice split.
It's a stalemate, though.
But I like this split. 2-2 in either building, so you can still get revives, but one nade will not just take your entire squad out. You can see Juicy looking for that. That would be a hell of a throw. G25 on the kill feed, not surprising. Those guys like aggression. They will get in your face, so not too surprised seeing them go at it.
Has to be careful, because if he goes for that grenade, the long one, if he takes it from the right-hand side, he'll get seen by the AKM. Marciano again. Bonio goes down. Bullet takes out Shafira. Bond also falling down from Marciano. Crypto onto Loves. Bullet again. He now goes back on the offensive.
Bullet's
Excuse me. He's been confirmed and finished. Yeah, that was 1 knock and then finished with the Tommy. Slazer finds his teammate as well. Potentially, that might be a squad wipe coming out from G25. Look at all these bodies.
It looks like it.
That's an insta.
I think they've done this one, so that's a big pickup. Again, no one's surprised at G25 picking up these kills. We know that, but how much are they going to have towards those later game circles? Ooh, Skrilla going on a wide peek around the back. Risky maneuver, trying to maybe find an angle, but gets kind of warded away. Takes a couple of bullets, does not want to outstay his welcome. But where are G25 sitting? They're actually still pretty far down. They're in 8th spot, but they have got such a high kill count in comparison to other teams around them. 17 kills to their name from yesterday's games. The one above them, 11. The one below, 8. So again, they're really an aggressive team, but they need those finishing positions.
The only issue here for Lights
Wait,
Out
did one Team Gates just get picked up then?
Didn't quite catch it. Maybe. Talking about this one, though, when we look towards the side, Juicy, all right, he's got the M4, but some of his teammates are actually still running around with, like, umps and SMGs and so on and so forth. On the opposing side, they're underrated. They're rocking quite a few ARs. Circle comes in now. This is an interesting one because there's a lot of people,
Ooh.
a hell of a lot of people for this circle. They're on the outside, on the extremities of the circle. Team 11 has to come down. They can get a nice little route. They could run the blue if they really wanted to. Come through school, come through apartments, maybe coming to the southern end. But Team 15, that's Marciano. They're still lurking on the bottom.
Skrilla just got picked up. This could be go time now for the other side. They know they've got 1 knock. It might be time to push. Juicy pre-firing into the smoke, making sure no one can come through it. But it's not the front side you got to be worried about right now. The other team is wrapping on the outskirts. Underrated, trying to find a way in. Trolling, can you do it? Spots down 1, sprays him wildly, but he needs that connection. He's still alive. He knocks 1. Where's his teammates?
His teammates are falling down behind him, unfortunately. 2 go down. Now there's 2 in the opposing side. That's not a full wipe just yet.
Oh, but look who's just turned up. Gankstars are here. They've heard the fight. They might smell blood in the water, and they might want to get in on this battle. We know they love a bit of this.
In fact, while that was going on, 2 of them split from the opposing one. So now, all of a sudden, they run in there around the backside. They did that in a 2-2 scenario. The 2 that tried to escape through the back, they were murdered on arrival. So that's a complete squad wipe inside there. But now, out of the fire, into the frying pan. Beowulf literally just looking at that doorway, hoping anybody wants to step out. And what did you say about smokes, Lauren? Look at this. They are completely loaded with. They've just lined them all up. Hunkered down. They've got themselves a nice bit of a defilade. Smack bang in the middle here. There's players on both sides, but they've got the scopes and weaponry to deal with it.
Got to be worried about Wildcard Gaming, though, as well. These guys are in a bit of a predicament. I've just seen Hot Juice get, I think, knocked there. These guys are trying to hold on towards that top 3 spot, and they're being pressured. They have Team 7 not far away. That's Team G25. We know they're going to push them. This could be a huge battle if they do decide to push on that and make some aggressive maneuvers. But right now you are seeing G-Bait trolling, all these guys trying to ward off Gankstars. But if Gankstars smell there's a bit of weakness, feel there's weakness, they're going to push on it. And again, this is really deadly. There's not much cover here. It's a lot of knowing the terrain. It looks like Carnage and Co are getting the job done, but let's take a second of respite to see how Gankstars are dealing with these opponents just across the way from them.
Those guys. That's where they were fighting, I think. I think they're on that hill. People shooting right now. That's them. So they're
his level 3 helmet off in the house.
They're behind us, kind of helping.
Yeah, I'm just not going to peek any.
Right side house, top right window, it took his level 3 helmet off.
We're not going to get any kills off this, and we're just going to lose armor.
Yeah. There's a car moving, TG Carnage.
They're getting hits.
House is one.
Where are they rotating to?
Now, you can hear, I love the approach, the mentality from these guys, understanding that we're not going to get confirmed kills. There's no point in wasting our armor on this, so play quite safe. The teams who don't have that luxury are the ones slightly further towards the south from them. You could see that Gankstars could potentially get knocked at some point, but they should be able to get revives. They've got a really nice area here. New circle comes in as well. They're just on the extremity of it. They can still play safely off the back. They need to stay awares, but I still want to see what's happening with Team 5 if we can. Let's swing on over towards Wildcard potentially, because I've seen them in a bit of a predicament. There we do. We do see one of the Gankstars do get knocked, and that's what I mean. They could get knocked if they overpeak. They could get punished, but they can crawl back down and they can find safety. That should be no bother for them. They don't need to overpeak this.
Look at how many bodies just try and get in front of him just to make sure he's safe and secure. 8 times doesn't quite connect. Look at all these players running outside of the blue, though. This isn't good. That's Team 20 and Team 13 and 19 all on that western side. Meanwhile, those guys are just sat really only just ahead of them. They're not in the white just yet, but this is an easy bunch of kills from all these players that are going to be coming out of the blue. They're going to be so damn weak.
Those guys,
they could murder a lot of people. They could really go on cleanup duty.
They really could, and that's what they need. Those guys could do with some points behind them as well. That could be great news for them. And this is the Walking Wounded trying to just crawl their way forward into safety. And you can see Danky spotting out one of them. That's going to be a nice clean pickup. That's points in the bag.
And there's still more to be had. I can hear them outside the zone. DP just waiting for now. Everyone holding the point. They know where the players are going to be coming from. And again, knowing the terrain is super, super critical here. Looking straight down the edge of the blue to see if anyone wants to go for a slow wander. Teammate, you can see all the way down south. That'll be his end game as they're going for the rotation. But there's 2 teams just ahead of them. But as you say, Lauren, Team 5 at the moment, Wildcard.
Yep.
They have the most kills so far after 4 games. They are fragging out. They are center circle. But how do they deal with the onslaught of teams that are going to be flooding towards them?
They've got teams to their left and to their right. This is a very scary predicament. You can see Richie and Co just playing the outskirts as long as they can. Maybe they'll have to take the vehicle in the end and make a mad dash for it. That's going to be their reality, and it's going to be a tough one to deal with. One of the Pachinki bandits is not far away either, but here we go. This could be the fun one. Let's see how they handle this. This is Team 4, so Team Gates, again towards the northern side. The circle is moving in, so everyone's being forced further forward. But between Team 12, Team 5, and Team 7, there's a lot of moves that could happen in the very center of this. It's a very, it's a barrel that could explode any second. If one goes, you can see it will come down, but Rolex is up for the challenge, apparently.
That guy finds Mac Daddy. That's a scare in the kill feed. They've already lost one in form of Samuel. They're down to 75%. You can see bleeding out pretty fast. That's going to be a second knock for sure, if not more. Still getting tanked up, though. You can see on the left-hand side, that's a lot of health being removed. Another player falls as well. Now it's getting messy. Beowulf's also getting tanked. Zute gets caught off guard, but the smokes again utilize it to the maximum. This will literally just keep them living by a lifeline. They are on the edge of the circle. In fact, with that next update, the next update is awful for teams in the northern ridges. But I tell you who it's bloody good for. It's good for Wildcard. They're in the center.
Yep, they're in a great spot. If they can just try and keep their calm, they're in a really nice position. We are seeing a bit of a battle continuing. Very hard to get those confirmed kills as they are in compounds, so there is hard cover to try and stay behind. But Gankstars, and if you're looking at Team Gates as well in the north, they've got a long way to go, and they could potentially try and go across each other, and they could have some real issues working their way in. But you can see them. They've got to be calling this out. Team Gates have got to be communicating, okay, there's at least one team here, one team here. They're going to be making these notes in their mind mentally and preparing themselves. They have to go and run the gauntlet soon.
Our number 1 and number 2 team here, when we look towards Gates and Gankstars, they have the hardest road towards the edge of this circle.
Yeah.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams potentially already sat inside the circle just waiting grabbing a house, grabbing a hill, grabbing anything that they can to give them some sort of line of defense against the onslaught of bullets they're about to endure. So many teams are going to push in. One gets copped off guard in the level 3 building. He'll be able to at least back off for now. Tags come through. Trolling goes down. This is what you said, Lauren. This is on the edge of a knife.
It's go time. Gankstars are going to have to work their way, and they're going to make the risk first. Hot Duke still alive and kicking, though. As said, once this circle collapses and hits, everything is up in the air. Everything is all for grabs. You can see Gankstars making a mad dash for it. They're just risking it. This is incredibly risky. They have to be prepared for a fight now. They've gone full center circle. Look at this. Every window, every angle. Beowulf's gone down. This is huge.
Only about 2% health on the opposing side. He gets the knock at least on the coming back, but 2 of them have gone down. Make that 3. Zute is the last man standing here. Keep an eye on the kill feed. Let's see if he goes down. Angry's dead. He's confirmed he's gone. Toulouse also gets the knock. Carnage.
Here comes the blue.
Here comes the blue. This will just push them all together even further. This is complete madness.
It is. Team Gates are holding alive, but Hot Dukes is lining up this kill feed. He looked confident at the start of the day, and I do not blame him. Zute looks like your last man standing here, if I'm not mistaken. That is heavy losses coming through, and now with 7 teams remaining and 16 players, these guys are going absolutely wild. Beowulf confirmed down. This looks huge right now. Alchemy trying to find his next potential victim with that DP.
Cotter also gets put in the ground. Claire, he's gone. DP onto him.
G25.
That's the
G25, they're moving
it.
in. G25 are pushing in towards Hot Dukes and the rest of Wildcard Gaming, and they're doing the job. This is huge from Wildcard. They've just been taken down. Wait, no, Outsider's still alive. He's trying to hold on to this one. I think it's all on him right now.
Literally, that's it. And the Zute is just sitting here while the rest of everyone else around him is dying. He's just working his team all the way up the leaderboard. Outsider's down, so is that...
That could be them done.
Gone?
That could be it. I think G25 might have just wiped them. They might have held on long enough. I want to double check. I want to confirm that's correct, because that's a big pickup. Those two have been fighting out for so long as well. What a way to end that story between them. But there's still 5 teams in this. That new circle, it's the eastern side. Team 9, that's underrated, suddenly become the power players. They've got it all. G-Bay sitting real good. Everyone in a really nice spot. And look at that position. It's got a beautiful hillside on it as well. All the other players have to, again, pick themselves up and run into this situation. They're not in the safety yet. They're not in that new circle. The cover that we're looking at is no longer safe. All of these teams on your screen are going to have to pick themselves up and run across the open field towards these guys on the other side.
Trolling did say, you know, coming into this, we're going to live up to his name, which is underrated. And honestly, with this game number 1, they might just do that. They've got 4 players alive. They're also inside the circle. Everyone else has to run to them. All the smokes are going up. But really, after that, where can you hide? It's an open field. This is going to be an absolute disaster.
Marciano Gaming still have a lot of numbers in this one. Rolex starts to make the move. He's your last man standing. Zute in the same position. A lot of the big teams now making the move. The smokes go up, but G-Bay's waiting on the other side. M4 in hand. Alchemy prepares himself. They're all going to make the mad dash. Who's going to survive? It looks like Zute goes down. It's 3 teams remaining.
Everything is just going off. Alchemy drops down. You can see on the opposing side.
2 teams.
That's literally it. M4 in hand. ACOG spray down comes through, just trying to find him through the smoke. The rest of his team's forced to move up. They have to help him out here. It's a 4 versus 3 scenario. This should be theirs. They have the numbers advantage, and they know exactly where they are. They can just box them in. They can come in for a complete pincer.
They could do. G-Bay wants to do exactly that, going to try and make the play around the side. But Marciano Gaming still holding the line, but not well enough. It's G-Bay to close it down. And what a performance from Underrated. Big words at the start of the day, and they've just turned the hell up. That is what I want to be seeing from these teams.
11 kills in the bag. They said they were going to do well, and do well they did. Fantastic play at the end to keep 4 alive all the way until the